Hi everyone. So today I'll be going over my empties for the month of April. Like always, I'll have these separated into categories in case you're only interested in certain items. To start off with, like always, I'll go over my sheet mask. So for this month, I really wanted to power through some that my friend gave me for my birthday. And this just, I didn't like the texture. It actually felt a little bit itchy on my skin and it was a little bit stiff. So this is from the brand, I believe, Kala, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, made in Korea. So this is the, I guess, cooling and hydrating version. So yeah, I had this for the minimum amount of time, which was only like 5 minutes or so. Normally I leave my sheet masks on for a lot longer. I believe it was a pack of like five or something. And I wouldn't repurchase it and I don't recommend it just because it didn't feel the best. It wasn't soft. And I felt like it just kind of irritated my skin, especially if my face was feeling red. So that wasn't good, but thanks for the thought. I know my friend does know that I like sheet masks, but that one just wasn't my brand. And then I do have one from I'm From Rice sheet mask. I really like this one and I like using it when I feel like I want to get a little bit more brightening in my skin tone. Does that really work? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it's really hard for you to find significant changes from what sheet mask. So here's that one, but I really like how it felt on my skin. And then just the one that I always go back to, the Tony Moly Pore Care I'm Red Wine. I will continue to repurchase this. I haven't seen this particular one at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, so I think I want to see if they have other types. Like I feel like there's a bigger variety in Sephora. It's a lot more expensive there. So maybe if I see some, I guess, new type that I haven't tried before, I'll purchase that. But then if I don't like it, then I'll just go back to this one. So that's it for my sheet mask. Again, I always use it when I get out of the shower. I do have one full-size product. This is the Klairs Supple Preparation Unscented Toner. I use this after washing my face. I know a lot of people say that toner isn't necessary. However, I feel like there's always a little bit of like maybe soap residue, or in order to add more like hydration to my skin that I wouldn't get from my serum or my moisturizer or cream. So this one, I like it. I've tried also the one that has essential oils. It's in a different packaging, but I like this one a bit more. I believe that I repurchased this one already because for a hot second, Marshalls and TJ Maxx had Klairs products. I haven't seen them in a while. So I purchased this one from Wish Trend, but because of the whole tariff situation, I don't see myself being able to purchase it anytime soon or during their upcoming sales and not being hit with like a big bill at the end of the day. What was I saying? If I finish up my backup one that I got at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, then I'll go and see what the situation is ordering online or overseas. Who knows? But I do recommend it, especially if you have sensitive skin. It does add hydration and it doesn't irritate my face. Okay, the next item that I finished up came as a free sample from an Ulta order that I did. I got two of the Guilty Pleasure candles from the brand Sniff. However, it smelled very light on cold, so I ended up returning it, and I guess I kept the free samples that it came with. This is the Belief Moisturizing Eye Balm. So it's a small size. I was able to try it out. One thing about me that I think it's kind of funny, I cannot use any type of like eye cream, eye serum because I get milia. So what I ended up doing was initially using this as a face moisturizer, but then I found myself getting clogged pores because it was a little bit too thick for my skin. So then I ended up using this as like a no, not a body cream, a hand cream. And I did like it because it did do a good job at moisturizing my hands. And I find myself, especially at night, rinsing my hands or washing my hands a lot more often because I want to be very careful because I use contact lenses. Long story short, I dry out my hands more at night than during the day. So this did a good job. Sorry, I'm burning this very strong candle right now, which I'm kind of happy about. But talking and breathing in the scent at the same time is a little bit hard. What I'm trying to say is that this is very occlusive. However, I wouldn't purchase it because my eye skin area doesn't do well with eye creams. All right, the last skincare product that I used up, my sister let me borrow this. I believe it's a micro dart patch. Yeah, spot clarifying micro dart patch. So I believe she purchased it at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, which is a better price than if you purchase them at like Sephora or Ulta. I don't know exactly which store carries it, but I had like a big cystic acne, or no, I don't know if it was cystic, but it was those pimples that are underneath the skin, and you know they're just not gonna come out and form a head, so you can then like squeeze them out. So this was really good. You do feel like a little prickle, but I felt like what it mainly did was it calmed down the size of it. So it kind of reduced in size, but it didn't completely eliminate it. I only used one, so I don't know if I would have used like 4 every night if it would have decreased even more, but it did a good job at like really calming it down. So I would repurchase this if I ever see it. I hardly ever get those big types of pimples. I haven't had that since like my high school years. So who knows, maybe I'll have some as a backup. But I believe that is it for my skincare products. I'm going to go to Bodycare. Okay, going on to an honorary empty for my sister, we have a Tree Hut scrub in the scent Peach Sorbet. So my sister really loves Tree Hut scrubs. I personally think that they're okay, but I feel like they're not exfoliating enough. I do like the older Onyx bathhouse foaming body scrubs, but one, they last forever, and two, I believe the company has rebranded now and they no longer have the scrubs in TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And I think their new aesthetic is like very plain, and I believe they have like highlighter colors, and I believe also the quality went down a little bit, just my opinion. But anyways, back to this Tree Hut scrub. This is in the scent Peach Sorbet. I believe she got it at Ulta. Let me go ahead and smell it because I only used this about twice. Yeah, okay, so it reminds me a bit of like peach gummy candies mixed in with maybe a little bit of like raspberry and stuff. It reminds me of those shaved ice that you would get with the like artificial syrups on top. I really like it. I don't know if my sister would repurchase it because sometimes with Tree Hut scrubs, she finds that, I don't know if it's an essential oil or something, but it really irritates her skin. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me, but with this one, I think she has other scents that she would prefer. So there's that, and there's this like napkin here because it gets a little bit oily. She cleans the product in the shower and some of the oils go outside of the packaging. Okay, so there were a few Lush products that both my sister and I finished up. So going on to the products that she finished up is this Honey I Wash the Kids shower gel. I believe this is the smaller 3.3 fluid ounce size, 50% off. So we got this during the Boxing Day sale. I don't know, do you still call it the Boxing Day sale? I feel like now they really want to rename it to the Freshness sale. So this one, I think that my sister said that she didn't really care for it. I noticed now that Lush shower gels, for me, they can be a little bit too stripping, but my sister doesn't use any like loofahs, sponges. So if you just use this like straight up hand soap without any other like tools or accessories, it doesn't suds up as much. I use a silicone body brush or scrub, and I feel like I get more of a lather. So I think she didn't like it that she didn't get a good lather with just her hands. But the scent is really nice. It reminds me of like a slightly floral honey scent with like a little drizzle of like alcohol booze in it. Really like it. During the same sale, we both wanted to try out the Shoot for the Stars body scrub. So this one again was 50% off right there. You can kind of see it. Oh, by the way, for Lush, if you have these pots, whether it is the black or the clear pot, you are able to bring back 5. And you can either get $5 off your purchase or a free fresh face mask. Sometimes they're a little bit picky with which type of fresh face mask you get. I know that there's one store near me that they want to limit you to like maybe 4 of the main ones. But at this other store, you can basically pick any face mask that you want. But going back to this product, my sister really liked it. So it was a very pretty blue color, which I don't think there's any remnants because we do a pretty good job at cleaning these Lush pots. But it also had, so it was a blue scrub and it had a golden star shower jelly. So my sister ended up giving this to me because she felt like the scrub made her skin itchy. So I used up the majority of her scrub and then I finished up this one. I can kind of see what she meant. It reminds me of those scrubs that have almost a little bit too much salt that they make your skin a little itchy. So this one, I love the scent. My sister loved the scent. The dye was a little bit intense, but it did rinse off and it didn't stain our skins. But these, honestly, they're a little bit pricey and I feel like I like other small businesses scrubs over this one. So yeah, while this is a lovely scent, I wouldn't repurchase it. And also the shower jelly was a little bit of a pain to finish because the loofah that I have, it's a little bit older. So the like, I guess the like holes in the loofah are larger. So there was just shower jelly flying everywhere. So wouldn't repurchase that, but it's a lovely scent. And for 50% off, I think I still wouldn't repurchase it. Next, going on to Bouncing Santa. This was from a few years ago, actually, 50% off again during the Boxing Day sale. So this one expired January 14th. It didn't grow mold or anything, and it still smelled really nice. This one, I believe, was a watermelon scent, surprisingly, during the winter. I'm not sure exactly if watermelons are in season during the winter. So love the scent. I wish it would also come out in like a shower gel form or maybe like a shower scrub. But again, same issue. It kind of looked like a murder scene in the shower because, especially with this being red, it just like fell through the old loofah that I was using and it just kind of went like flying everywhere. It's sorry, I had to catch my breath. It's very wobbly, jiggly. Like you have it in your hand and then you don't have it in your hand. So going forward, I wouldn't purchase shower jellies anymore. They're really fun. I think they're better suited maybe for kids and maybe even like a tub type situation. But yeah, they're like, I feel like I might fall in the shower using one of these shower jellies. But if the scent came back in a different form, I would repurchase it. So there is that. All right, that's it for the Lush products. Oh, I have one from Trader Joe's. So this one took me forever and a day to finish. This is the Trader Joe's Brazil Nut Body Wash. I believe I did a dedicated review for the scrub, the body butter, and this shower gel. No, body wash. So the scent is pretty nice, but the problem is that one, it doesn't really bubble too much, and two, the scent doesn't stay in your skin as long as I feel the scrub does. So out of all the products, my favorite is the scrub followed by the butter, and then this is last. Oh, I forgot the oil. The oil's pretty good. It's somewhere in between the scrub and the body butter. But yeah, this one was 16 fluid ounces, and I believe that it was either $5.99 or $6.99. My sister didn't end up getting one for herself, but she ended up using this as a hand wash to use in the shower. So I wouldn't repurchase it. The scent is nice, but I feel like there are other, like there's several dupes of the Sol de Janeiro, I believe 62. So you can find one. Even I think Bath and Body Works had a dupe, and I know for sure that one suds up more than this one. So I'd probably use or purchase that one instead of this one. Next, we have a fragrance mist from a small business on Etsy called Sugar Mood Bath and Body. This is in the scent Blueberry Sugar that came out, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. Anyways, this smells like straight up Jolly Ranchers, the blue raspberry type, but there's still a little bit of like this sleek, almost wetness to it. So it's slightly watery. I don't know if it would be like an icy that is slightly melting or a Jolly Rancher that is slightly melted in the sun. But anyways, it was a really nice fragrance. And I believe now Bath & Body Works for the summer SAS 2025, there's going to be a blue raspberry scent. So I'm curious how it will compare. But this one smells like straight up candy. The longevity isn't the best, but one thing that I like about it is that even though I sprayed this heavily on my PJs, it didn't, it didn't stain my PJs is what I'm trying to say. One thing that I have to note is that I really like how the owner packages it. So this spray bottle comes separate and this part comes sealed. So I believe that keeps your product, fresher for a longer period of time. So I believe I would repurchase from the shop. I think that they're slightly expensive, the retail price of it, but I think I got it during a 50% off sale that the owner was having at the time. So I wouldn't repurchase this scent because while it's fun, playful, it's not really my go-to scent. But on my PJs at night, it did the job. Okay, next is hair care. So that's kind of its own section. Let me go on to these three products. So this is from the brand Virtue, Recovery Shampoo. What is this? The conditioner and the mask. So this entire set, I believe either on Ulta or Sephora, retails for like $30-$40, which is insane because these are very, very tiny products. However, one time when my sister and I went to Walmart, we saw this set on the Walmart clearance for $7. I feel like that's still kind of expensive given these small sizes. But anyways, this is I think, supposedly prestige brand. Okay, so this one, it had a weird scent. I believe it might have copper in it. So it did look like this, maybe like a medium brown chocolate type of a color. It didn't linger on my hair, and I didn't hate the scent, but I didn't love the scent. So the shampoo, I feel like I could have gotten more bubbles. I mean, it did lather and whatnot, but I just felt like the bubbles were kind of like small and weak, if I'm making any sense. Oh gosh, I kind of tilted the camera. So with the conditioner, I think it did a great job at hydrating my hair, and I really enjoyed the mask, but this is way too expensive if I want to get the full size. And I feel like Moroccan oil is also like a kind of prestige brand, and I feel like I like how that leaves my hair more than Virtue does. However, it did feel really nice. I didn't have a lot of, well, I always have frizz, but it didn't feel as frizzy as when I use like drugstore type products. So there are those. I wouldn't repurchase it, but I do have a backup because my sister, I guess she has too much hair care, and she ended up giving me her set. So I have one more to go through, which shouldn't take me too long. Okay, next is all a bunch of home fragrance. I'm going to try to group these into like wax melts and then maybe save the candles towards the end. And wow, I got through a lot of candles this month. For myself, I don't burn every single day. All right, first we have tea lights. I don't consider this a part of my candle section because I use these for my wax warmer. Most of the ones that I use, I believe they're the like 3 to 5 hour tea lights. And then I believe I have maybe like one 7 to 8 hour tea light, and then the other ones are the 6 to 7 hour ones. So I do like these tea lights. I know sometimes they're like really off center, like this one, but honestly, I've never had a tea light die halfway on me. I feel like if you're going to use a tea light, you have to commit for the full duration of the burn, because if you then move your warmer, that light will extinguish and you're going to have a hard time relighting. And this is just any, like whichever brand, Walmart, Target, they all pretty much work the same. All right, speaking of tea lights, I like to, in my Scentsy warmer, I put the dish in the freezer and then I pop out the wax. I know some people use a butter knife or other stuff, but in my tea lights, I don't do that. I'm trying to look into this like silicone mold because the one that I got just didn't really work out. I know some people also use egg tart metal tins, but for now I don't hot dump my wax, so I use these cotton balls. These are from Equate. They say jumbo size, but honestly they weren't jumbo size. But yeah, I finally used up one of those. Oh, a straggler tea light. But since I'm on this like wax and wax accessories kick, let me go on to the ones that I finished up. So I do have to declutter one, and it is from That Smell Good shop, Gotham and Peach Ice Cream. I could not stand the scent because it smelled honestly a little bit like urine because of the peach note in here. I know a lot of people like probably 50-50. Some people get that scent, some people don't get that scent. So it could be just this fragrance oil, because I was so worried that I ended up melting another scent and it performed so well and I didn't get that off-putting fragrance. So it could be that the scent just isn't for me. I don't have anyone to like give this little cube to. And also other people in my home didn't like the scent. So this is going to be a declutter. I have a free sample from L3 Waxy Wonders. This is in Enchanted Pears. I believe that the fragrance notes is like a bakery pear, and this one smelled really nice. It almost smells a little bit like sugary pears. It reminds me more of like sweet pears, like caramelized probably. I know that some pear fragrances come off a little earthy smelling to me, but this one smells really nice. I put it in my 25 watt Scentsy warmer, and it lasted pretty much like a day. It wasn't the strongest, but it wasn't the weakest. But I would repurchase this one, and I believe it was on sale during the up to 50% off sale, which is now over. But yeah, this is a nice pear scent. All right, next we have one from Athame and Alchemy. This is in the scent Bibliosmia. The fragrance notes are old books, worn leather covers, printed pages, antique desks, and fresh pencil shavings. So this was one of the free samples that I got with one of my orders. I believe the size of this wax was maybe about 0.8 ounces. So I used the entire cube in my 25 watt Scentsy warmer, and I forgot that the wax for Athame and Alchemy works better in my Julienne warmer and my tea lights. For Athame and Alchemy, her wax, I feel like it lasts a very long time. but it's not like very strong. It's like present, so more of like of a medium or a light medium. But the duration, I think this lasted about like 2 days or something. So yeah, this one I felt like it was really authentic to like antique book covers, almost a little like dusty smelling. Like these books are a little bit funky. So I like it that the leather note wasn't super present. I think I got that more on day 2. And I think that if you're looking for unique, true indie wax fragrances, Athame and Alchemy is for you. She doesn't use any plastic, so this is paper. So I know a lot of people who have a bunch of wax and don't go through their wax as quickly. They tend to rebag this, but I don't know. I kind of want to rebag it, but I feel like that defeats the purpose of her like trying to go eco-friendly and stuff. So there's this. I would repurchase it, but currently the owner, Kimberly, is selling her house or in the process of selling her house and moving to another state. So her wax inventory isn't as full as it normally is. But I believe if you go now, it's still currently open. There's like some spring summer wax and her general catalog. I believe this scent should still be available. I would repurchase it, but I would use it in a hotter wax warmer. Okay, next we have one that I had to stop melting. This is Candles by Victoria Fresh Baked Bread. So, okay, let me open this. Oh no, I do not like this scent. This smells like fake fresh bread. It doesn't smell like sweet bread. It doesn't smell like salty bread. It just reminds me of artificial bread. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. But that same note, I did get it from the Kringle candle called Easter Brunch. So I think that note of a fresh baked bread, I just do not really like. I am getting a little bit of like the toastiness from the almond in the Kringle candle, but that's not present in the wax melt. I believe it's a single fragrance note, but I just could not stand this scent. So far, I found that Candles by Victoria, her fragrances lean slightly artificial to my nose at least, but they perform really well. Even this fresh baked bread, which tends to be, or I would assume it would lean a little bit light, it performed really well in my medium-sized bedroom. I tend to use half of this, but when it was starting to go a little bit funky, I thought, okay, let me put the full entire wax cube. Big mistake. So I wouldn't purchase this fragrance, but overall Candles by Victoria has worked well. And if you find these during her scent shot sale, I believe this is 2 ounces and you pay like $1.75, $1.60, something like that, which is a good price. Next, going on to a wax melt that I just did not like the scent. This one is a Sensational brand, so you can find this at Walmart. I don't know if the scent is still available. This is pretty old. If you can see right there, it says April 13th, 2023. This one is in cereal cake, back when the wax melts were $2. Now in my area, they're $2.22, but I got it for $1. I got 2 of these. So the fragrance notes I put in a little dino label: white cake, mango, raspberry, sugar cream, creamy vanilla frosting. So the note that I just did not like in this was the vanilla frosting. It reminds me of a white cake and it's very, very artificial. If you can see right here, if ever you see your wax clams get a little bit yellow, that just means that there was a ton of vanilla. So I didn't get much of the mango. I think the next note that I got besides the like white vanilla frosting and the white cake would probably be the raspberry. But yeah, this was like way too much in my julienne warmer. So what I did is that I used this in my wax warmer that I purchased for 49 cents at Ross during their like 49-cent sale or whenever they're clearancing out their items. At first, I was like, what the heck am I going to do with this wax warmer? I know it was like cheap, less than 50 cents, but it's only 13 watts. So what I found is that the scents that I feel like are too much for me, which so far it's only been this one, I feel like it extends the life, obviously, since you're not heating up the wax as hot, so you're not burning through the fragrance oils, but it definitely makes the scent less intense. Overall, I feel like Walmart wax is pretty good. I know that sometimes it might get a bad rap or it's kind of like, oh, they're very artificial, but so far I feel like generally speaking, the best performing wax that I have personally melted so far would be Walmart wax, and then it'd probably be Scentsy. But yeah, this one I wouldn't repurchase it, but I will continue to purchase from Sensationals and Walmart and like check out their wax selection. So there's that one, performed really well, but I just didn't like the fragrance. All right, next wax melt that I used was from Swan Creek Candle Co. This is the Waffles and Berries fragrance. I purchased this on capecandle.com. So if you can see the difference, this one is pretty big. It's 5.25 ounces, and your normal like clamshell size is 2.5. I believe I paid like $6.39 for this, and maybe there was a percentage off. But anyways, the notes: top strawberry, blueberry, middle whipped cream, butter, base caramel yeast. If you can see, it did turn yellow because of all the like vanilla notes in there. So this one, I really love the fragrance. I already repurchased it. However, big caveat: melting Swan Creek wax melt is a little bit tricky, at least in my house, because it performs the best in the tea light warmers that I have. However, since the tea light warmers get really, really hot, I feel like it just evaporates the fragrance oils, or I feel like they get used up, and then I'm left smelling the soy wax scent. And I think that if I had to choose between smelling soy wax and smelling paraffin wax, I would much rather smell paraffin wax than soy. Using Swan Creek candles in my light bulb wax warmer doesn't really throw the scent that well. So then I'm left with my hot plate warmers, which is the Julie Ann one. It works pretty well, but I feel like I need something else. Like I need to have another scent going in one other warmer, because I feel like it doesn't throw the scent as much as I would like. I can always obviously put like another warmer somewhere in my room, but I kind of don't want to do that. I think that the scent is really authentic. I like that I actually get a waffle note from this. But going forward, I think I'm just going to use up the wax melts from Swan Creek that I have. Again, this could just be like a this scent issue, so we'll see once I finish up more melts from Swan Creek. I've also heard that some people put their Swan Creek wax melts in a candle crock, which I have not done because I don't have an empty candle jar, but maybe I'll go ahead and try that as well and see if I get better luck, because Waffles and Berry is one of my favorite fragrances from Swan Creek. Okay, last wax item, we have this one from Boots and Mascara, or Angela here on YouTube. This is Sweet Plus Not So Subtle. Wow, there's a lot of fragrance notes in here. So 5.82 ounces. Pour date is September 2024. So we have Cupcakes at Tiffany's plus her Sweet Millennial Nostalgia, which is charred cranberries, ruby grapefruit, red peony, Christmas rose, and a light sugary cotton candy. So for this one, I didn't really detect any floral notes, maybe a little bit of a cotton candy scent. Cranberries also not so much. Yeah, the main note that I got was this very sugary sweet Cupcakes at Tiffany's, which I'm not complaining. Sometimes Cupcakes at Tiffany's leans a little bit more chocolatey, but this one leaned a little bit more vanilla buttercream to my nose. So this one, I believe it worked the best in my tea light warmer. So I had it going for, I think, a total of like 8 hours or so. And I think towards the end, I just went like YOLO and I put it in every wax warmer that I had in my room. So yeah, that one was good. But I think in order to get like the full experience, I needed to use more wax cubes in the warmers that I have. Versus I feel like some fragrances, like that darn Sensationals wax melt, I don't know how that one performed so well. But that's all to say, this one comes with a lot of cubes, so I just needed to use more cubes. To repurchase it, I'm not sure because I've already had the scent. So maybe if there were other new fragrances, I'll try those instead of repurchasing this one. Okay, I have a lot more candles than normal, but two of these are candles that my sister finished up, so I'll briefly touch on that. So she finished through this Homeworks Cinnamon French Toast. So this one she paid $8. I also have this candle, but I didn't really want to burn it right now. Fragrance notes: grated cinnamon, nutmeg, sprinkled powdered sugar, toasted brioche. This is from 2024. So with this one, initially she really liked the candle. Here's how the burn looks like. She doesn't warm her wax afterwards. It was a nice sugary cinnamon fragrance. However, she has a tendency to let her candles burn for way too long. So what ended up happening is that I feel like since she has them burning for a lot longer than they're supposed to, is that they sometimes can take on this like burnt scent. And since this is already supposed to mimic French toast, I feel like the scent can easily turn charred. Now, for me, when I smell it, when she had this burning, it also kind of reminded me like there was a little bit of this orange zest in there. I don't think that's listed in the notes. No. Yeah, so she easily got tired of the scent and didn't want to burn it anymore. So I'm curious to see if my candle turns like that, because her normal burn time is maybe like 6+ hours and my burn time is more like until the candle pulls out, or 4 hours. But she wouldn't repurchase it since she's glad she got it for only $8. Next, we have a candle that I gave to my sister because she needed a candle to burn and she liked the scent. So this is the older Scentworks made in the USA in iced blueberry pie. I think I was going to review it, but then I realized that I already burned and reviewed iced blueberry pie. It was in a different packaging. I'm really like contemplating keeping this glass because it's very thick and pretty. So here's the bottom. I got this at Ross for $8.99, I believe. Yeah, my sister and I both tend to keep the price on this. So you can see right there, 14.5 ounces, made in the USA. Fragrance notes: wild blueberry, almond cream or creme, fresh baked pie crust, whipped vanilla icing. Let me go ahead and open it, and here is how it looks like. I feel like those wicks are dangerously too close to each other, but anyways. All right, so this one does smell a little bit charred. I remember that because I would always light this candle for her, is that the wax did get discolored. It's just a little bit hard to see because of the packaging itself. This gets really hot, so I would caution you if you have these older Scentworks candles. The strength and throw in her smaller room, I have a medium-sized room. I would say hers is more of a small bedroom. It was around a 6 or 7. So, and I thought it was going to be a lot stronger. And the blueberry note in here does lean a bit artificial. There's not a lot of pie crust, but we both like artificial blueberry scents, so that was fine. I don't think that she would repurchase this one. I wouldn't repurchase it because one, made in the USA Scentworks candles are discontinued. You can no longer find them. Sometimes they pop in and out of Ross, but there is one from Ross that I do want to purchase, and it's not blueberry pie. And also $8.99, that's kind of like expensive for me. So there's that. But she did enjoy that one a lot more than cinnamon French toast. Okay, going on to the candles that I burned, starting off with small business candles. This is from a brand on Etsy called Mac Henry & Co. This is Fruit Loops, 100% soy, wooden wick. So Fruit Loops. Fragrance notes are apple, cherry, orange, vanilla cream. So the reason why I'm hesitant to repurchase from this brand is that, one, the prices went up to like $45. I purchased this when I was on sale for $30. The price has come back down to $30, and I believe that if you add something to your cart and like don't check out right away, the seller tends to send offers. So I have a 30% off that ends soon. However, this fragrance turned so artificial. And it reminded me of my friend Tracy over at the 3-Wick Thesis when she was burning her Kringle candle in, I believe, Jelly Bean Jubilee. And she's like, man, this smells like medicinal cherry. And I did get medicinal cherry from this Fruit Loops fragrance. Normally Fruit Loops leans a little bit more citrus heavy, but yeah, this is just cherry galore. And this one right here, I know it looks centered, but this thing drifted all the way over here. So this wick clip is loose. And we have a little bit of leftover wax, but I really like the type of wick that's used. However, I did get a lot of cling-on wax because when I first received my candle, it was off-centered here. I'm currently burning this other one in strawberries and cream. It does smell, again, artificial. So when I got it first, it did look a lot like the strawberries and cream. So you can see right there, it's off center. It's closer to the label than it is in the back. So you get like this Klingon wax over here. But the type of wick that's used, it's like a little, it almost looks like a cheese grater. So I feel like it crackles a lot and I am able to hear it a lot more than this other brand that I'll show in a bit. Oh, and this is how the wooden lid looks like. So anyways, I wouldn't recommend this scent. And I feel like since I've already tried 2 scents that smell artificial, I think I'm just going to pump the brakes and not repurchase anytime soon. Sticking to small businesses on Etsy, this is from the brand Teresa Lynn Simple Luxe. She also uses 100% soy wax. However, her wax tends to be colored sometimes. So this one was really cute. It had like orange and it had pink up at the top. So this one here, this is her larger pint mason jars, and she has half pint mason jars. So this is 12 ounces about. Fragrance notes are sweet orange, raspberry, vanilla, strawberry. Not all of her wax has the fragrance notes, but I guess this one did. So this one lasted a very, very long time. However, the problem with this is that I could not smell this while burning. And also because the wick is very small, this was very easy for the crackle sound to be almost non-existent. And also if you had the like TV on or like YouTube playing in the background, it got even harder to hear it, is what I'm trying to say. But the scent itself, it's mainly like this very pretty creamsicle scent. I just wish I would have gotten it while it was burning as well. I think that her shop, if you buy one product, her shipping used to be free shipping on orders 35, but I believe now if you purchase something, you have to pay like $4.99 or $5.99, and each additional item is a dollar or $1.50, something like that. So I don't know, it's kind of pricey, especially if I can't smell the candle and if it's a little bit on the lighter side. So again, I'm gonna, hold off on buying any more from her shop. Okay, let's go on to another small business, not on Etsy. This is from the brand Turtle Creek Candle Shop. So I wanted to try this out because of the type of wax used. Right now, I cannot remember. I think it was like a coconut apricot wax blend. Anyways, you might see like, wait, why is this a full candle? I actually put this in my candle crock because unfortunately, while burning, I did not like the scent. It was almost like kind of like that peach ice cream wax smell. It turned a little bit like I'm trying to like find the words for it, but not like urine, but it smelled like stuffy, humid, like when it's really hot in the summer and it just doesn't smell clean. That's what it reminded me of. I know it says banana nut bread, but I didn't get a banana nut bread while it was burning. I got it slightly more when it was in my candle crock, but first I got this like banana bubblegum Laffy Taffy type of a scent, and then after warming it or having it in my crock for a few days, I did get more of like this bread component, but then it went back to being this like banana bubblegum type scent. So yeah, unfortunately, this did not do well burning, but it lasted a really long time in my candle crock. So yeah, I have one more candle from this particular business, so we'll see how that one burns. And if I also need to put it in my crock, then I'll probably just not purchase anymore. But since the type of wax is softer, it melts a lot more easily than, let's say, my Bath and Body Works candles that it takes 4+ hours for the wax to melt. Okay, going on to another small business, again on Etsy, we have Glowstone Candle. This is my favorite, like almond fragrance. This is in the scent Dream Cake. And the owner here uses a coconut soy wax, 45-hour burn time, 18 ounce. So this one, it's the same vessel as another candle that I'll show you from Caramel Sundays. The difference is that this shop uses three wicks. The issue that you might see is that this thing was it wasn't so strong. It was medium strong, but then around right here when the label started, I had burn issues where the wicks were drowning. So I had to continuously either soak up wax, dump wax. Then I was like, I really like the scent. Let me dump the wax into my wax warmer. And even though that the wicks were very like puny, they were drowning or deading out, I feel like I could still smell it somehow. I don't know what magic happened in there. So this one, the fragrance notes: top, nutmeg, cinnamon, lemon peel; middle, almond, amaretto; bottom, vanilla sugar. So I didn't get a ton of these top notes right here. Definitely not the lemon peel. I couldn't pick up on that at all. I mainly just got this almond and amaretto mix, almost like almond extract. It did smell a lot different on cold versus burning. My mom, she really loved it when I had it burning in my room, like the few times that it worked. So it reminded her of this one bakery, like Cuban bakery called Portos. They have an almond croissant. And I did smell that, but to me, it's reminded me more of a mix between on burn. It reminded me more of like an almond croissant if you cross it with like a shortbread cookie type scent. So I really love this fragrance. So what I ended up doing is I purchased it in the smaller, I believe it's 11-ounce format. So I'm thinking maybe it's just this size that didn't work well. So hopefully that one performs a lot better. But overall, I really enjoyed this scent despite all the struggles that I had with the burn. I feel like sometimes when you really love a scent, you just kind of put up with it. I know that the seller also has this in wax melt. However, I'm a little bit hesitant to purchase 100% natural wax just because I find that the paraffin ones perform a lot better in my space, specifically my room. But if the smaller candles don't do well, then I think I'll just probably get this big size and like scoop out the wax probably, because I think the price per ounce is better if you get this obviously on sale. Oh, and this one's a bit pricey. I believe the retail price is 36 or 38. So definitely wait for there to be at least a 30% off sale. That's when I purchased mine. And then the holiday scents, I got it after the holidays for half off. So yeah, there's this one. I've already repurchased it. Hopefully the smaller format performs better for me than this one. Okay, another small business. We have 3 candles from Caramel Sundays. So, all of these, I have dedicated reviews on the candles, but the first one that I finished was blueberry pancakes. So I don't have the note, or the notes aren't listed on here. This is the 2-wick format, and I didn't warm the candle after I was done just because I didn't really care for the scent or for other reasons. But blueberry pancakes. So I believe that the notes were like blueberries, obviously a pancake accord, but I believe there was also a peach note in here. Let me smell it because this was quite early. Okay, yeah. So the blueberry note is detectable. I think the part that I didn't like is that I couldn't pick up on that pancake like bread aspect in this. It seemed more of like a blueberries and cream type of a scent. I could also smell the peaches, so it was making the blueberry note slightly brighter. But again, I felt like that kind of took away from the pancake note in here. So unfortunately, I got kind of tired of the scent midway because it just wasn't the blueberry pancake candle that I wanted. I much prefer the Bath and Body Works blueberry maple pancakes. Granted, that one I feel like the pancake note can be amped up a little bit more. You mainly just get this blueberry maple medley again. Well, I don't know again, but the strength and throw of this was on the light medium side, or maybe barely medium. So I think it was around a 6 out of 10 if I remember correctly. I wouldn't put that in an open concept space. And I feel like while it was detectable in my medium-sized room, I didn't care for the scent. So there's that. All right, next we have one. I think this one was the strongest one, but it performed the dirtiest. This is an ice cream sandwiches. So initially I just got the strawberry note on cold. However, when I went to go burn it, it was a bit light all the way up until maybe like right here or something. And then it picked up to about an 8. But then coincidentally, it started like sooting right here. So I think it just got so hot that it finally started to throw the scent. And then also I got the chocolate note like closer to the bottom. So I think maybe just all the strawberry notes were up here and then the chocolate notes were at the bottom. So I don't know if they weren't really mixed well, but on cold, I got all of the notes. I did pick up on the chocolate note on cold, but again, I think maybe the oils just weren't really mixed well when it was burning. I'm not sure. I wouldn't repurchase this one because again, it was a bit light. So like for this portion of the candle, it was maybe about a 6 out of 10. And then for this portion of the candle, it was maybe about like a 7.5 out of 10. All right, last Caramel Sundays candle, we have Bakery on Main. This was a pretty big disappointment because it was anywhere from like non-existent to a 3 out of 10 at the strongest. So yeah, I don't know what happened with this one, but I mean, it didn't soot or anything. So as far as performance goes, it was a little bit better, but the soy wax does look discolored. You'll probably have to check out my dedicated review to get my full thoughts, but this one smelled really lovely on cold. It was just a very nice vanilla bakery scent. And then I didn't get any of that while it was burning. And I also tried it in my hurricane. I tried it in my bigger hurricane. I tried it in a candle sleeve. I tried it when the AC was on. One time I tried it in my bathroom and I'm just like, this is not working out. So unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend this. I know other people have had better luck in larger size formats, like a 4-wick. I don't believe they have a 5-wick. So yeah, I would say that I personally don't recommend this fragrance in the 2-wick, but I can't speak to a larger size. So it could be that in a different format you get better performance, but I'm just saying that I didn't get good performance. So unfortunately, that one was a dud. I wouldn't repurchase any of the Caramel Sundays candles that I burned. Okay, that's it for candles. Let me go on to miscellaneous. We have one Glade plugin. I feel like Glade plugins work oftentimes better than the Bath and Body Works Wallflower plugs. I believe this one was in like a blackberry fizz fragrance. I think I threw away the scent. It was a seasonal scent. But anyways, that was pretty nice. It reminded me a little bit of like black cherry seltzer from Bath and Body Works. I get a little bit of blackberries. I do get the fizz effervescent note, and it is a bit sweet. So yeah, that was really nice in the bathroom. I would repurchase it, but again, it was limited edition, so I don't believe that it's readily available. All right, last thing, we have this car diffuser that I picked up at Marshall's in It's the Season. I kept a little tag just to give you more information. So this one, it says a cozy blend of warm, fresh apples, clove buds, cinnamon sticks with a light vanilla hint. So, okay, here's the back. So I got this in a 4-pack. The retail price of that 4-pack was $16.99, but I got it on sale since it was like Christmas seasonal for $8.50, meaning that each one is $2.13. It lasted approximately 90 days. Con, slight spill. Okay, so the problem with these car diffuser things is that when you like tilt it over to put the oils back into the cap, is that somehow the oil travels up. I don't know, through like capillary action or whatever, but this string, it does still feel wet. And sometimes when you over like tilt it, or if you go through a bump, this thing like starts flinging and it spills a little bit. Or if the cap is too saturated, then obviously it's going to spill a little bit. So well, my cars are already kind of messed up, so I don't mind putting in another one in there. But if you have a brand new car, and let's say you have leather upholstery, I wouldn't risk it personally. I would rather get like the Yankee Candle gel ones or the Little Trees, but I'll still continue to use it, but I'll just be more mindful, one, when I go through bumps, and two, not to like over flip this at all. The scent itself wasn't my favorite. Let me see. So the scent itself isn't for me. I don't know if this is duping the Bath and Body Works candle 'Tis the Season. But yeah, I don't really care for clove or red apples, which is what I'm mainly getting. The cinnamon is present, but it's not overwhelming. But yeah, I just wouldn't pick this up. I only got it because it came in the pack and there were other fragrances that I wanted. So yeah, those are all my empties for the month of April. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.